The Chancellor admitted to me in the interview that that was unfair. He accepted it was unfair, which makes him quite difficult for him not to do anything about it.
So this is in from our listener, Mike. He says, Martin's a rock star, one of the really good ones. You can add that to your list of accolades.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Went down well.
I'm not a rock star, I stick to money, I think.
Let's now welcome the money-saving expert, Martin Lewis, who's live on the line. Hello, Martin.
Hi, John.
Martin, should I congratulate you? It seems as if your lobbying, your expert lobbying on the Chancellor and the Treasury seems to have paid off, at least in part.
Well, the Chancellor did say it was due to me when he spoke to me on the phone about it, so I'm going to claim the credit, if I may. He said I was the dominant force, although I don't think it was really me. It's worth telling you the story behind this. So, in January, I had the Chancellor on my TV show, which is obviously, it's mainstream, prime time, not a political show, consumer finance show. We have about 3 million viewers. And I asked before the show, what do you want me to ask the Chancellor? It was an open invitation. And I was blown away by the fact that around a third of the thousands of responses I got were on the high income child benefit charge. Right. Many single parents, single earners and dominant earner families talking about just how unfair the structure of that charge is. So I took that to the Chancellor. I will read to you the question I put to him to introduce that, which came from a chap called Alan. Alan said, my son's partner tragically died 34 days after giving birth to twins. My son has taken a new job that now pays him £60,000 and is struggling with the cost of living and mortgage repayments after the loss of a second income. So his income went up, family income went down. HMRC has asked him to repay the child benefit. This seems grossly unfair that a couple can bring in nearly 100 grand, but a single breadwinner loses out once they earn more than half of this. Yeah. So I pushed the Chancellor on that. The Chancellor admitted to me in the interview that that was unfair. He accepted it was unfair, which makes him quite difficult for him not to do anything about it. And I expressed quite the volume of concern that was out there on this issue in an electoral year, and the fact that the threshold had not been increased since 2013 when this happened. And I think we've been campaigning on it ever since. And actually, the result that we got today is almost exactly what I suggested that they do, which is you do a consultation now, because it's never going to be that quick to change the system, and you put the threshold up. They've not gone with the exact threshold I would have. I'd suggested you put it up to £65,000, which is where it would have been with inflation since 2013, where you start to lose money, and then it drops off totally at 75,000. He's put it up to 60,000, where you start to lose money, but it doesn't drop off totally to 80,000. And frankly, I'm not going to quibble with that difference.
No, it's going to make a significant difference to quite a lot of households. And I, for one, am perfectly happy to chalk that victory down to you, Martin. You weren't quite so successful, though, in your campaign, which you told us about, I think, a while ago, for changes to ISAs for would-be home buyers.
No, I wasn't. So the Lifetime ISA is a product for first-time buyers aged 18 to 39 when they open it, that gives them a 25% boost on the first property that they buy, the savings. So you can save up to £4 a year, and then you'll get £1 on top if you do the maximum. The problem with that was introduced in 2017 with a limit on a property of £450,000. And that property limit hasn't gone up, even though house prices have gone up 30%. And what that means is many young people use this savings product rightly for their first-time property, but because prices have gone up, they're now priced out. They have to pay slightly over the threshold. Yeah. And it's not just that they don't get the bonus, they pay an effective 6.25% penalty to the state. So you've saved 20 grand in there over 5 years, whatever it is, and then to access your money to use as a deposit, if you're buying a house over 450 grand, you have to give the state over £1,000 of your savings. Now, that is manifestly unfair. And I asked the Chancellor to, as a bare minimum, just wipe the penalty for people who are buying a first-time property. Now, again, I spoke to him on this because I was wearing my campaigning, not my journalist hat. And I'm going to read to you what I used contemporaneously, note down at the time, and asked him if I could quote because it was a private call. And he said to me, I wanted to do a big home ownership package, but that doesn't work until property prices are definitely rising, and I still have to keep an eye on overall borrowing as well. I do want to do more than just remove the penalty. I want to reform LISAs. So that's a clear signal to me that the door is still open with this party, And frankly, I think the door will be open, whomever is in government, and that is not a campaign I am going to let up on.
Right. Well, I mean, I won't encourage you to keep going because you're going to keep going, whatever I may say. I don't know if this encourages you, Martin. This is in from our listener, Mike. He says, Martin's a rock star, one of the really good ones. You can add that to your list of accolades.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Went down well.
I'm not a rock star. I stick to money, I think.
Well, listen, big picture, Martin. How much is this all going to mean to hard-pressed Britain? These are tough times. The Chancellor's announced these tax cuts and other measures, but the tax burden is still looking at, well, it's a post-war record. How much relief is there here for people?
Well, look, earn under £12,500 and there's no effect. Earn £12,500 to about £26,000 and you're marginally slightly worse off because of the freezing of the tax thresholds than you are because of the gain of national insurance. Earn around 26 grand to, these are IFS's numbers, not mine, I should say. Earn around 26 grand to £60,000 and you will be marginally better off now when you combine the two national insurance cuts, the 2% one in January and the 2% one in April, even after the tax thresholds freezings, and then earn over 60 grand and you'll be marginally worse off. So it is not a game changer, but it is certainly an improvement. But of course, my job is to focus on a third of the budget, the stuff that's about consumer finance. There's also the macroeconomic stuff, the size of the economy, and the public spending stuff. And if I'm honest, when I look at the feedback I'm getting, there is, and I think it's fair to say, and it comes from all political sides, there is a feeling that Britain is broken. Our NHS is struggling, our trains are struggling, our roads have potholes, and that we may well have gone just too far. I'm not sure that a 2% cut in national insurance, while it is welcome for working people, and of course it doesn't affect pensioners and it doesn't affect unearned income, I'm not sure that is enough to shift the dial. So on my side of things, this was an electoral giveaway budget, but then that is only a third of the budget.
Right. Always a pleasure to talk. Martin Lewis, money saving guru.